What is going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. I'm back at it today, diving into more of the Battlefield 5 details that were revealed to us during EA Play and E3. If you guys saw my video yesterday, I tried to talk about the new details that we haven't heard about that were some major gameplay changes. So these are some of the new stuff that we haven't heard about before. I then finished off that video with some of the smaller stuff that wasn't big gameplay changing features, but were definitely new to Battlefield 5. So today I want to elaborate more on some of those smaller details, as again, if you've been following Battlefield and checked out the big reveal that happened in May and got more of the information that came out from the EA Game Changers community, you would know that what we're seeing from the big event from E3 and EA Play isn't really big news, really. We all know about the stuff was coming out. It was just more of a visual representation. And I think the best way to summarize it is we knew things like the builder mechanic was coming, but we didn't know like the smaller details of you be able to build a snowman. So we knew we could build like tank stoppers, machine guns, sandbags, but we didn't know we could build a snowman. So that seems to kind of be, if you've been following Battlefield closely, the theme for me at least, because I've noticed that basically everything that's been coming out has just been the same stuff we've already heard before. But again, Battlefield is a very big game, and they want to reach as many people as they can, and when you're bringing it to an audience like E3, you're going to be hearing a lot of similar things all over again. So again, just making points about what we know is new, and I want to follow up again in this video and point out the smaller things, because again, if you enjoy hearing everything about Battlefield, even the smaller details are big details to you. So feel free to let me know if I miss any of these smaller details. I'm gonna go through a good amount, I guess, in this video, but I'm sure there's gonna be a ton more that I'm still missing. So yeah, definitely leave down comments below if they are new details that are new to Battlefield 5. But quickly, before I dive into the smaller gameplay features that were revealed during these big events, I want to touch base upon the Battle Royale mode. During the EA Play reveal, terms were being used like after launch, and more about that later this year, which had, of course, my mind focused on later this year about this whole new Battle Royale mode. But Daniel Berlin, one of the DICE developers, was interviewed and asked about this new Battle Royale mode, and of course he didn't have any details to reveal to us, but he did say there would be more information about that shortly. So the word that was used was shortly, which brought my mind closer to the present. So I wanted to briefly let you guys know that to definitely be a lookout for more information about this Battle Royale mode, because of course there was a lot of talk about how they're going to do this, and of course EA DICE introducing this BR mode to their Battlefield game will be very interesting to see. So again, keep a lookout for that coming shortly. But now that I got that out of the way, let's dive into the smaller gameplay features that were revealed during these big events. One of them I'm not sure if I talked about earlier, but I definitely want to make mention in this video, and that is your round score carrying over to the next round, something that we hadn't seen during the operations of Battlefield 1. If you moved over to the next round on the other maps, you wouldn't have your score carry over. That's not going to be the case in Grand Operations. You will see your score carry over. Alongside, we're seeing the daytime nighttime changes, so we're seeing them coming in on the first round in the nighttime, and then that second round it becoming daytime, which is pretty interesting considering that there are maps on Battlefield 1 where they would have been pretty cool to see them shifted between those day and nighttime. Like I think Precinct Tour is one of them, where I think it would have played really well during the day, and I think there's a lot of people, including myself, who would have been pretty intrigued to see Cyanide being played at night. So that was something we saw during the campaign, which would have been pretty cool to see. So makes you think if DICE has the possibility here to have the option to switch between daytime and nighttime, which would give a little bit more of that replay value to these maps, given of course if the nighttime effects aren't so dim where you can't see the player you're shooting at, which from the gameplay I'm looking at right now doesn't seem all too bad at all. So I like how the nighttime feature is right now, so if they can keep something like that up, I think it would be a pretty cool feature for them to introduce in. Moving on to the Airborne gameplay, where we probably could have concluded this from seeing the teaser trailer, but it was confirmed for sure in the gameplay, where you can actually shoot down those airplanes that are having the enemy players parachute out of, and if you catch them while they're in the airplane and shoot it down, you will get kills for it. So I am hearing that is rare to happen, but that is pretty cool that you can shoot down those airplanes and get kills for it. Some of the devs did an interview for Xbox today on the Mixer platform, where they kind of talked about the AA guns and how they are easy to take out, but it seems like they're giving us a little bit of idea of the meta here, I think, where it seems, at least from my interpretation of it, they want to mix up that, you know, static stationary AA gun and make sure that, you know, pilots can't just memorize where the AA guns are at and just go for them and, you know, destroy them so players can't use them. And so being able to move it around does make it, you know, more difficult, but they have stated that it is, I guess, pretty easy to take them out once you're able to get to them, at least. So if you can get to those AA guns and take them out, you know, it seems like they're going to reward you, as it doesn't take too much to destroy these AA guns. So hopefully that will be a help, because it does seem like the overall theme of the vehicles and the pilots and all that stuff is that it is a bit of a nerf from what I'm hearing people say, and from what I'm just watching. It does seem like, for the pilots at least, what is a buff is the gunner seat for the bombers seems to have a bit of a buff, but for the pilots themselves, not much there, as the attrition theme is carrying over to the vehicle classes. And I may mention about that in my other video, where I talked about you're going to have to be resupplied a certain way, but even being healed a certain way as well, that your health, same way it is for the infantry class, won't go all the way up to the full amount if you go down too low. So you'll have to go back to the home base and get yourself healed that way. So again, a lot of nerf going on for the vehicle classes. Seen a lot of it even for the tanks themselves. Seems like it benefits you more by jumping out and repairing with your hand tool rather than you staying in the vehicle yourself. So and again, even for the tank as well, if you don't you know, stay at the upper range of your health bar and you fall too low, you're gonna have to move all the way back towards wherever the you know, home resupply and health spawns are at, for you to begin to move that health bar back up to 100. So pretty interesting stuff going on here with vehicle gameplay. We did get to see one of the new exotic archetypes. This time though, it was for the support class, and how you can know if you saw any gameplay of this exotic archetype, it was the support class that was using the MG34 light machine gun. So that was the machine gun that doesn't have that large clip on the top of it that obstructs your view. So if you saw someone using a machine gun that didn't have that large clip in your way, you were looking at one of the exotic archetypes. We also got to see the dynamite being able to stick to vehicles this time, which assault class players like myself are very happy to see. And we finally got to see, which I touched base upon a little bit in my last video about the spawn beacon, that was clarified more to me today, and that is actually for the scout class, has an option to equip that rather than using his spotting flare, and he can drop that down, and that is a spawn beacon for people to spawn into rather than spawning onto an individual player. So that's pretty cool to see as well. We got to find out that not only could we throw grenades back, but we could also throw grenades underhand and roll them. So that's pretty cool, instead of just always throwing a grenade overhand, something that's really far away. But if you're doing something closer range, you could underhand throw it. Also, I've heard you can deflect grenades, so I haven't seen that yet, but that will be pretty cool to find out. And of course, if you haven't seen by now, the little Easter egg whale that was recorded by someone, just recorded on their phone, I think was pretty cool, and of course very DICE-like fashion to introduce something like this. Very good call for DICE to introduce this into the game. But those were some of the smaller things that I did notice. We didn't get to see the grab your buddy who needs to be revived and drag him to a better covered space for you to revive him. So we didn't see that into the game. That wasn't in this build. And I think I heard something about you not being able to see the person who killed you on the kill cam, but you would see where he was at when he killed you. So it wouldn't follow that player. That's something I thought I heard. I could be wrong. Correct me if I am. But I didn't see that in this build, if that is the case. But yeah, those were some of the things that I didn't see in our build that I want to make mention about. But those were some of the smaller gameplay changes and features that are being introduced to Battlefield 5. I'm sure I'm missing a ton of them, but I wanted to give a somewhat kind of small brief video, even though we're going past 10 minutes now, about what I had been seeing. Again, feel free to comment what you guys have seen in the bottom below. Again, stuff that is new that we haven't heard about before in the past is what I'm looking for, and hopefully we can get caught up to all the stuff that has shown up in this big pre-alpha build for these big events for Battlefield 5. But that is it for you guys today. Again, always appreciate you guys being here. I am Livin', and I'll catch you guys again later.